Today is Monday, March 15th. Let me have everybody's eyes up, please. Hands off your keyboard, eyes on me. Thank you. So we have some changes in Canvas that we need to make sure we're aware of. You will not be able to access the new module until you have marked all the pages as done and viewed all the assignments from last week's module. So this is 3.8 to 3.11. So if you don't have check marks down the side here, it is not going to let you move on in the module. And notice here, all of this stuff is grayed out. I cannot click on the Desmos check-in until I complete my daily check-in. So this is how I'm doing our modules now. Because with everybody supposed to be coming back next week, I need everybody on the same page. And this is going to force everybody to do the same thing in the same order. So this is how Canvas is set up now. So if you're trying to access something and it won't let you access it, it's because you need to go back and do everything in order. So once we have everything checked off here, just click the title to collapse it. I had to put it at the top in order for it to be a prerequisite, and I needed to make sure that everybody was caught up with what we were supposed to do last week and aware of assignments from last week. If you guys missed the window to submit your notes or to do the CUDA, if you come to 5th period tomorrow, I can print the CUDA and let you do it in class. And if you're in the group that has to come for 5th period and you're required to come, once you guys check in the library, Miss Mayo and Miss Baloo know that you guys are allowed to come to me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Do not come up here today, because I will send you right back to the library, and you might get written up for just wandering, because I already told you right now that you're going to come tomorrow. So don't waste time wandering the hallways when we need to be doing our work in the media center. So once we complete the daily check-in, and I meant to do this before the bell rang, because even when I'm in student view, it will not let me move on to the next thing until I submit. So if you haven't done the daily check-in, do it now. If we're going through the module, if you haven't done the Desmos check-in, do that now. I don't know why that's not letting me click on that. So once we submit the quiz, at the bottom of every topic, it has a little next button, and that's what you should click to get through the module, because it's just going to make you go back and go to the next thing anyway. So when we open the Desmos check-in, it's going to open in a new window. Everybody needs to take about 5 minutes and do this right now. Everybody got the Desmos check-in open? So this is for last week through this week. So this is reviewing what we covered last week, making sure we're good there, and also to be updated throughout this week. So you are required to give me some type of elaboration. So let's say if we're falling behind, I was out of town. That's why I fell behind. Or if we're confused, let's say I haven't copied the notes. That's why I'm confused. So whatever your explanation is, why are you behind? Why are you confused? It's not for me to judge you or give you a lecture to harass you or anything. It's just so I can understand, what are you dealing with? Like, what are your obstacles? I do care about that. So make sure that we're being open and honest in this. This is not an assessment, but it is important. So there's some new things here. So you need to make sure we read the entire page, everything on the screen. So we can enter questions from last week about grades, upcoming or past assignments. So if you don't have questions, I have no questions. Check it. I have read all the details on this page. If you're going to email me, check that one. If you're coming to 5th period, check that one. If you don't have any questions, I have no questions. Guys, while I'm going through this, you should be going through this. Once I get done, we're moving on. If you don't finish, when I finish, leave the tab open. You guys always have a bajillion tabs open anyway, so just leave it open, come back to it later. How do you feel about your assignments right now? So if we're doing good, drag it. How well do you understand? If we don't understand, drag it that way. So let's say I did all the work. I do not understand. So if we didn't do all the work, then we can put, I have missing assignments, and that's why I don't understand. Or whatever the case may be. That'd be nice for me. Confidence. So just because we did everything, and just because we understand, understanding and being confident are not the same thing. So just because you understand something doesn't mean you're confident in your understanding. So if we're confident, that means that if I gave you a test right now, you would get an A or a B. That's what that means to say that you're confident. So if we're like kinda, sorta, we can put it right there and we can say, I need more practice, or whatever the case may be. So if I don't see you typing right now, then I'm confused as to what you're actually doing because your hands and fingers need to be on your Chromebook in order to do this. So this is when we need to read carefully. Drag and drop the items in order of difficulty for you personally. There is no right or wrong answer. So this has the least difficult is at the top, the most difficult is at the bottom. So if navigating Canvas is what's most difficult for you, then put that at the bottom. If procrastinating is your biggest weakness, then put that at the bottom. If you come to school every day, then that can go at the top. If you're having trouble coming to school for whatever the reason may be, if we're oversleeping, if we're just tired, if we've got to work, if we've got to babysit, whatever the reason, if coming to school is hard for you, put that at the top or put that at the bottom. That'd be most difficult. So make sure we're paying attention. So if we can attend fifth period, then that should be the least difficult because I can come to fifth period. So then we need to select that all that apply. So if you are required, you can check that one. If you're not required, but you are available, you can check that one. If you can't come because of your job or your family, click that one. If you just don't want to come because you don't want to come, then click that one. And I'm not going to be offended by that. If you guys have other priorities, that's your decision. That's what you have to decide if that's a priority for you to come to fifth period or not. Or if you want to get help virtually instead, then we can check that one because I can send you guys video recordings. I can send you guys links to different notes. I can go back and explain an example. So like if you email me and say, Ms. Reynolds, I don't understand example B on page 12, I can send you a recording explaining that specific question that you have. And then just remember that we need to be consistent and communicate and we'll be successful. So I'm going to give us about 2 or 3 more minutes to complete this before we move on. All right, so if we're done, we're going to move on and we're going to go back to Canvas. And we still got this next button down here, which takes us to our Google Doc agenda. I am going to do my very, very best to keep this as updated as possible because I know that it is helpful. I'm going to rearrange our announcements as well and put this in the announcements and have that being the only announcement at the top of your page so that it's easier for stuff to load. So notice here I put check marks on everything that we should have completed. So we have an Edpuzzle video that is due tomorrow. We have our lesson notes. So this link right here is a PDF to the file in Google Drive. And I don't know why it's not loading the preview, but that's what that link is. So the same link is in Canvas, the same file is in Canvas. And tomorrow we'll work on reviewing the practice page. Wednesday, I'll have a video for page 17. Thursday in class, we'll review page 20. And then you will have a review and test in Canvas from Friday to Sunday. So being that, we'll have our review in class. We'll be working on that together. And your test in Canvas will be timed. It'll only be 1 attempt. And the questions will lock all those other different things. But you guys can use your notes. You're at home. Like there's no excuse for us not to use our resources for that. So I expect everybody to do well. So then we have all of the files in order. So you are going to need to click through and view all of these files. We are not spending class time copying all of these files. So if you know you're missing notes for this page, you need to go back and look at it after school, or that's something else that we can come and do during this period. Copy notes, make sure that we get any questions answered about that. So we have 5.1 lesson in practice, 5.2 lesson in practice. So right now we're in Canvas copying notes for wherever y'all are at. I would like us to start on page 9. So I don't want us in 5.2. I want us in 5.3, which we will review. Let me go over here. So we will review practice 5.2, but we're not going to spend a lot of time copying or anything like that. So I'm going to leave this on the board and pause the video here. I'll give you guys about another 5 minutes to get the lesson copied for 5.3, page 9 and 10. And then we need to be working on page 11, which is practice 3.3. All right, so another thing that we need to make sure that we understand and notice in Canvas is this is making us do everything in order. So if we completed everything up here, you'll get a check mark. If you haven't completed everything here, you have a red circle with a line through it. So this means you started, but we're not quite done. So I've got all of my check marks through my lesson notes up to the one for today. So today we're going to introduce polynomial multiplication for binomials using the box and FOIL method. So we have, this is the notes day 1. So we'll have a new notes page loaded day 2, day 3. That's how I'm going to update this so we know which one is the most recent file. So we have these lesson notes, and then you try, that's going to be our independent work. And then you try here, that's our independent work. And then the rest of that is just notes. So in Canvas, I want to go back to lesson 5.3 on page 10. Everybody on page 10. So we had skipped this one on the right side, this square and this rectangle attached to each other. And I skipped it intentionally because I wanted to talk with Miss Curley about how she taught her students to do this one, because there's many different ways we could approach this. So I'm looking specifically at this pink and orange and this green part down here on the bottom. So we have a square and a rectangle mushed together. We're trying to find the area and we're trying to find the perimeter. Understand the perimeter of a square is 4 times each side because all the sides are the same. There are 4 sides. To find the total of all the sides, we can multiply by 4, or if we add them up 4 times. So whether you add 4 times or multiply by 4, it'll get you the same thing. And the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. But the thing is here, I erased 2W because if we look at this picture, this far side right here, represents my 2W. So I don't have, so like this X and this X are a part of this whole side, which represents 6x. So if I'm going to do 4 times 6 to represent this square, that x value is taken care of. So that's why you understand that a plus x plus b is 6x. That's what represents that whole other side. That's why I didn't include plus 2w right here, because we're only adding the lengths. Now we could have done 6x times 3 and then did x, but then that would have left off a and b, and we don't know what a and b is exactly. That's why it's easier to just count that far side is 6x and not count the x on the end. Because if we count that, then that's double counting our perimeter. Does that make sense? Does everybody have this on page 10, the top of page 10? All right, so our perimeter is going to simplify to 34x plus 2. Now, area is different. Area is measuring the inside. So if I have length times width, I am going to take area like normal. So 6x times 6x plus x times 5x plus 1. So we will take that one normally. We don't have to worry about accounting for the double x or anything like that because we're worried about what's on the inside, the area. So 6x times 6x gives me 36x squared. X times 5x gives me 5x squared. X times 1 gives me x. So that's how I get 41x squared and 34 plus 2x. So in pink, that's my area. In green, that's my perimeter. So this will be added, well, the video will be on the Monday page. And I'll go back and update this file, lesson 5.3, day 2, so that we know this is the most recent one. And here at the bottom of page 10, if you don't have a marker and eraser, you need to get one. You should have gotten one already. Boards are at the front of the room. Markers, erasers are on the pocket holder thingy on the wall. I'm going to pause the video here while we go through these, and then I'll unpause when we review. All right, guys, so this is what we should have. I'm going to go back and circle these answers so we can see a little better. We should have, for number 1, 3x squared minus 9x. Number 2, 4a squared plus 4ab. Number 3, 12n cubed plus 5n squared minus 19n. And number 4, negative 11z cubed plus 4z squared minus z. So I would encourage you guys, for those of us that maybe didn't finish going through these in class, go back and make sure that when you work them out, you can get the correct answer. So in this class, we do a lot of copying stuff down. I need us to make sure that we can go back and do it without looking at the answer. So make sure you can go back and work it out and get that same answer. So practice 3.3 is going to be your homework, which we may get to some of these, but I do want us to at least look over the notes for today. And then if we have time at the end of class, we'll work on practice 3.3 in class. And I can check you guys' answers as we go in voice, just like we did. Everybody got this copy on the bottom of page 10? I see some of us still writing. All right, if we didn't get it all, make sure we go back to the notes. So this is your practice page. So this is going to be Monday, 3/15, homework / classwork, if we have time to come back to it. But I want us to look at these notes starting the top of page 12. So here I have this warm-up review here showing adding our sums and differences. So making sure here that we understand we need to identify our like terms. So if I have n cubed and n cubed, those go together. I have n squared and n squared, those go together. And then I have my constants 4 and 6, those go together. And then we add them. So we get 10, negative 6, and 3. So here, making sure that we add the opposite. So change the signs. Then we have cubed, those go together. Then we have squared, that one's the only squared one. Then we have M, that's the only M. And then we have our constants. So those go together. So we get 17. M is by itself, it comes down. M squared is by itself, it comes down. Wrong color. Comes down. And then subtract. Be careful with the integers. -4 minus 3 is -7. We're subtracting, we're going to be further from 0, a larger negative number. Think about digging a hole or eating cookies. If you ate 4 cookies, then you eat 4 more cookies. How many did you eat? 7, right? If we're subtracting, if I started with 10 cookies, I ate 4, I ate 3, subtract. Questions on 1 and 2? So we have distributing. So here we have exponent rules. So understand that this is saying 2x times x plus 3 times x. X times x is x squared because we add exponents when we multiply. This was first, outer, inner, last, or we also can do the box. So if I had x plus 4, 2x plus 3, multiply the columns times the rows. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 4 is 8x. 2x times 3 is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. Then we need to identify and add our like terms. So I get 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Whichever one of those methods works better for you, that is what you need to do. So this one, we did first, outer, inner, last. How we look at that. So these, I just did the box down here, same thing. I did at the side. So if you are in Canvas, which we should have this file open in Canvas, please have the file open in Canvas because I'm going to keep scrolling, but I want you to keep copying. Yes? All right, so once you finish copying 1 and 2 at the top and examples A and B, I want you to show me what we should get for our final answers at the bottom of the page on your whiteboard. Show me the final answer. So A, B, C, make sure you label them. It took 2 minutes. I want to see A. So I'm going to pause the video here until we continue going through these. All right, let's go over these. Let me make sure. Okay, I was making sure we're recording. Okay, let's go over these. So we should have for A, 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. Letter B, 3m times m is 3m squared. 4 times m is 4m. 3m times -2 is -6. M, -2 times +4 is -8. So this one is going to equal 3m squared minus 2m because I have -6 and +4 minus 8. C, 4 times B, and that's supposed to be 4B. So it's 4B squared. 4B times negative 5 is negative 20B. 3 times, negative 3 times B is negative 3B. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. So we get 4B squared, negative 3, negative 20 gives me negative 23B plus 15. So that's what we should have for the bottom of page 12. We need to make sure that we finish 5-3 for homework tonight and that we get the rest of the notes for 5-4 and be prepared to review this page. So in Canvas, you guys can pack up? In Canvas, on the calendar, your notes for 5-2 are due tomorrow. The Ed puzzle for today is due tomorrow. So nothing is due tonight. 5-2 due tomorrow. Ed puzzle, CUDA. Notes for 5-3 are due Wednesday. Notes for 5-4 are due Friday. 5-6, 5-5 and 5-6 notes are due Sunday. So we are finishing this unit this week.